Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to Biology Access. So today we are going to solve the Unit 4 question paper of May 2025, which is from the Pearson Edexcel International Advanced Level. So let's get started. Question 1. Redonda is a small island in the Caribbean. It is the remains of an extinct volcano over thousands of years. It became home to wildlife including species of lizards only found on this island. So these types of lizards and species are only found on this island. So we can say that these types of lizards are endemic to that island. Following the introduction of rats and goats onto the island, the wildlife was destroyed and the island was reduced to bare rock. So when the introduction of rats and goats occurred onto the island, the wildlife was destroyed and the island was reduced to bare rock. A conservation project started in 2016. A conservation project was started in 2016 to remove all the rats and goats from the island, and now the biodiversity is increasing. So after removing the goats and rats in 2016, the biodiversity have started increasing. Okay, so the photograph shows some goats and some rats. Okay, these are some goats and rats picture. Now let's move on to the question A. Which term describes the events that took place to change the extinct volcano into a habitat for many species? So what happened when the event took place to change the extinct volcano into a habitat for many species? It is known as succession. It means the changing of the land. Then which term describes the species of lizards found only in Redonda? As I said before, the species of lizard is only found in that place, so it is endemic to it. So the correct answer is B, endemic. Now let's move on to the next question. Suggest how the rats and goats destroyed the wildlife. Use the information in the photograph to support your answer. So here the question is, we need to suggest how the rats and the goats destroyed the wildlife. How it destroyed. We can take support from the images given in our question paper. Over here we can see that the goats are eating all the plants over there, right? And the rats are eating the eggs of the lizard or the eggs of the birds or any other animals over there. So in this support, by using the photographs, we can say that the wildlife was destroyed because the rats started to kill all the started eating all the eggs of the birds and lizards, and killed the birds and lizard and destroyed them. Additionally, we also can say that the goat damaged the leaves over there by eating it, the plants over there, and they trample on the eggs of the species over there. And since there was no natural predator for the population of goats and rats, they kept on increasing, which harmed the other species over there. So now let's see the answers. The wildlife was destroyed because the rats killed the birds, ate the lizards, and destroyed the eggs. Additionally, we can say that the goats contributed to the damage by eating the vegetations and trampling on the eggs. Since there was no natural predator to control the population of the goat and the rats, their numbers increased rapidly, leading to further destruction of the natural habitat and wildlife. So I think for 2 marks answer, this is more than enough. And now let's move on to the next question. Okay. Describe how to determine the biodiversity of Redonda to show the effectiveness of the conservation project. To determine the effectiveness of the biodiversity of Redonda, uh, like to see the effectiveness of the conservation project, we can determine it by counting the number of species present over there, by counting the number of plants which has grown newly over there. We can see that to determine whether they have any difference in the biodiversity or not, whether it has improved the biodiversity over in that place or not. We can count all different types of species of the plants and animals. We can use a biodiversity index by following a formula to calculate it, and if the project was successful, the biodiversity index would be higher, showing more variety and healthier population of the species. So now let's see the answer. To determine the biodiversity of Redonda and see if the conservation project was successful, we can do these 3 steps. We can first we can count the number of species of plant and animals on the island. Secondly, we can find out how many individuals are there of each species. Thirdly, we can use a biodiversity index using this formula over there, n into n minus 1 divided by sum of n into n minus 1. If the project was successful, then the biodiversity index would be higher, showing more variety and healthier population of species. Okay, so this is the end of the video. See you in the next video. Bye bye.